Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OT podcast. I'm here with Owen Reed of the O-Meister as we get set to go for our Week 12 NFL predictions. A tough week, to say the least, last week for me. Obviously, you had a pretty fun one. I did not. 11-3 to 8.
Sweeped ya. Sweeped
Owen
ya.
with a 3-0 win in that column. He is now 118 and 48 overall. I'm 112 and 54. I am 6 games behind with just 6 weeks left in the season after this week, which is hard to believe. We are
Never say that again.
season. Yeah, I know. But there's 6 teams on bye week this week. Those are the Falcons, Bengals, Saints, Bills, Jags, and Jets. Four of the 6 are from the AFC, the other 2 the NFC side of things. As we hop straight in here to the Browns and Steelers on Thursday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns are 2-8. Yes. However, the Steelers have not won a road Thursday Night Football game at all in the Mike Tomlin era. Not a single time. And this is an important game for the Steelers to win. They cannot afford to lose this one. Will they pull the Ravens and drop this one to the Browns, or do they get the job done on a short week in Cleveland? Owen, what are your thoughts on this football game?
Well, I'm telling you right now, this game is 100% a trap game right here.
Oh, yes.
Like you mentioned, that one stat, the Steelers have never won against a division rival on the road in Thursday Night Football before, 0-7 all time.
Oh, and 3 or 4 or something like that with Mike Tomlin. Maybe 0-5, something.
It is 0-5. It is 0-5.
Yeah.
But obviously, Steelers are they're surprisingly enough, they're in the mix for the 1 seed in the conference. Crazy as that enough is to say. And for the Browns, their season is pretty much over here with a 2-8 record, kind of starting to shift focus towards the draft.
What do you mean? They can have 7 straight wins.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. But I don't think their win streak is going to start this week. I think the Steelers are going to win. I think it is going to be a close game, because of that big stat that we just posted. But this should be one of those games where the Steelers basically control the whole game, because Cleveland has not been very good at all this season. But with how these divisional games always go, it's probably going to be close. It's probably going to be a very defensive game. And I'm kind of interested to see what Russell Wilson can do in this game, because he has kind of not played the greatest, I feel like, the past couple weeks. He's had a couple nice plays, but overall, he hasn't played amazing. Didn't even score a touchdown last week, and they're lucky enough to beat the Ravens last week. So interested to see what the offense can do in this one, but I got the Steelers with the W. Finally, getting 1 win in that little record right there and getting to 9-2 on the season.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and agree here. Pittsburgh has just been blowing my expectations out of the water for them. One of our good buddies, or at least one of my good buddies, said that they would go 12-5 this year, and I was like, there's just no way. And in order for that to end up being wrong, they'd have to lose, I believe that would be 4 at least of their last 7 games, which I just don't see happening. Pittsburgh is a good team, and I mentioned last week on the pod if they could beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they could beat themselves, if they could beat the Ravens, that they would be a team that I would take seriously. And now I will honor that by giving them a 21-7 win on the road on a Thursday night, a short week. They haven't ever won. This is the first time you can pencil in a Pittsburgh Steelers win here. I understand that they haven't won on the road on these night games, especially on Thursday Night Football, apparently. But I do think that they get the job done this time around. I get it, but I mean, it's the Cleveland Browns. They have not looked great at all this year, and I don't think they do in this game either. That offense is really what's holding them back, and it's going to a lot in this football game. Before we get into any more action, if you are interested in Owen's slideshow with all of his predictions, you can also tune in to his little slideshow. It's about around 3 minutes, so should be fun to look at, nice and easy video. So for my man up there, not God, the one above me.
Might as well be God with how I played today.
Oh, okay, bro. You might as well be up there, too, because you're taller than me. But
yeah, right.
Either way,
works out.
If you guys want to look at that, you can, as we hop into the Sunday slate, starting with the first seed in the AFC South, the number 4 seed overall in the AFC, the Houston Texans, 7-4, a 3-game winning streak over the Tennessee Titans dating back all the way to 2022 was their last loss to Tennessee. Do the Titans pull off a nice little upset here and finally break that streak on the road in Houston with Will Levis, or do the Houston Texans continue their dominance over the division rival Titans?
I think the Texans are going to continue their dominance here. Shocker, I know.
Yeah.
But the Texans, I mean, I feel like it might have been a little bit hard to gauge them with how they played last week, because they did play the Cowboys without Dak Prescott, so it kind of felt like a free win already. But with how the offense played last week, and this Cowboys defense is pretty healthy for the most part, with Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, the whole crew is back there for Dallas on defense, and that was the first game with Nico Collins back also for Houston, and they were able to pop off 34 points in that game, mainly thanks to Joe Mixon. Helped me beat you in fantasy this week. But anyway.
You were going to win anyway, let's be real.
Yeah, it was because of Joe Burrow. But anyways, we'll talk about him later. That does give me a lot of hope for this Texans team without Stephon Diggs, obviously, throughout this part of the season. So I'm really looking forward to see what they can do, if they can actually get back to like their peak that they kind of were like in the beginning part of the season, or potentially even better, like how some people thought in the beginning of the season, like me, potential Super Bowl contender. It's still possible. Everything's still in front of them for the Texans here, except for the Titans. Titans mainly just got the draft to look forward to at this point, as they got a big quarterback question mark, because it doesn't look like Will Levis is the guy. But you know, some teams give quarterbacks 3 years, but lately it's been seemingly 2. So this could be the last couple games here for Will Levis. So for his sake, he's got to play his heart out, really. He's got to give it everything he's got if he wants the chance to keep his job. But give me the Texans to win this one in Houston and firmly take place, first place in the AFC South.
There you go. I'm going to go ahead and give the Texans a win as well. I just think this Titans team just hasn't been looking too great. Obviously, neither have the Houston Texans. They get a get-right game, if you want to even call it that, against the lifeless Cowboys right now. I don't think that you can really gauge them too well off that game. You're going up against a team that's got one of the worst rush defenses in the league, on top of the fact that their starting quarterback's done for the year. And they've been plagued with injuries on the defensive side of the ball as well, with Micah Parsons still being injured. Obviously, he's back playing, but still obviously clearly not 100%. So either way, though, I do think that the Houston Texans get this one done. I will say 27-17. And one thing for a lot of people is like, whoa, that's a little close. I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than people expect. The Titans have been doing really good in the first half, and that's really when the Texans struggle. So I expect this game to be really close at halftime, and the Texans pull away in the second half, as they are a second half team, much like our Buffalo Bills. But either way, I think that this Houston Texans team is they're a little bit better. They've definitely need to work on some things, but realistically, this is a game they should win, and I think they do win by 10 points. 27-17 at home. Texans basically solidify the division with this win, moving to 8-4. As we kick it to an NFC division rivalry, this time in the NFC North. The Minnesota Vikings traveling to Chicago to take on the Chicago Bears. And for the record, the last 6 meetings between these two teams, the Vikings are 5-1. The last game that they played last year, the Bears won 12-10. So the most recent game, the Bears did win, and it was at home. However, this time around, do the Vikings reclaim their streak after winning 5 of the last 6 meetings? Or do the Chicago Bears get this one done at home after a gritty game against Green Bay last week?
You know, I would say for me, this feels like a gut pick, but at the same time, I don't know why I feel oddly confident about this game. Give me the Chicago Bears to beat the Minnesota Vikings this week, because I'm sure you're upset because I think you picked the Bears too.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
The Vikings, they're 8-2. Obviously, the record looks fantastic right now. You'd be thinking they've been playing great football lately. They have not. Sam Darnold has not been playing good lately, and going up against the Bears team that is way overdue for a win right now. We're talking about that Hail Mary that the Commanders are able to have against them, and the blocked field goal, which they should have beaten the Packers last week, but they didn't. This Bears team is so much overdue for a win here that they are going to beat the Vikings, and then the Bears are going to instantly become overrated immediately after this game. But give me the Bears to pull the upset and beat the 8-2 Vikings.
Yeah, I have the exact same situation. I think this is going to be such a fun game. It's going to be close. It's going to be back and forth. However, here's the deal. The Chicago Bears have started to kind of figure out their groove, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They were moving it down the field pretty efficiently against Green Bay. They had a couple little miscues with penalties that cost them some points, but at the end of the day, they had a chance to win the game on a field goal at the end. And just like the Broncos the week prior, get a blocked field goal. It's funny to me that we never saw that ever before where someone wins off a blocked field goal, and we've seen it once in each of the last 2 weeks now. So
Crazy.
interesting enough, but either way, I do think that the Chicago Bears are due for a win. I think this is a game they're literally fighting for their season right now. Their schedule is just brutal down the stretch. They still have to play the Packers again. They still have to play the Lions twice, the Vikings again after this. It's not fun for them. If you're going to get any game against anybody in that division, it's the Vikings, and you're at home, which I view home games versus away games in division rivalry matchups so much more important, especially since Sam Darnold and these Vikings are used to playing in a dome, and they're going to be going to the Windy City of Chicago in the wintertime. I just don't think that that's a good match for the Vikings, although they are from the north. I get that, but still, I think that they lose this one in a gritty game, 21-17, and the Bears improve to 2-0 in their last 2 meetings against the division rival Minnesota Vikings, as we both have a crazy upset. Moving into another division rivalry game.
Oh,
there's a lot this week, so we still have one more to get to at least. So
yeah.
We have the Commanders and the Cowboys, the 7-4 Commanders and the 3-7 Cowboys. If these guys were flipped records, then it would make sense in my brain. It does not right now. Owen, you made a typo, clearly, because there's no way the Commanders are second and the Cowboys are third, right? There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, no, I accidentally my finger just twitched when I saw the standings, and I was like, oh, 2, and then, I just hit the 2.
Yeah, on top of that, the Commanders, even though 7-4 record, they are the 7 seed right now in the playoff, which is just absolutely insane. However,
considering how good they've been.
Yeah, and exactly.
Crazy.
But they are taking on the lifeless Dallas Cowboys, who just can't seem to get anything good going for them this season. Another tough opponent. This one on the road, too. I guess it's probably better considering they still haven't won at home yet. Jake Paul won at home before you guys did. That is just absolutely sad. Anyway, I do think that the Commanders can get this done. Do you think that? What do you have happening in this renewal of a NFC East rival?
Yeah, no, I think the Cowboys are going to lose. Yeah. Cowboys, I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry at all, but it's tough to, play games without a starting quarterback, and you're seeing that right now. And I've been seeing some conversations
giving Trey Lance at least a look.
I was just about to say that, like, the fact
if you're not going to use him.
The fact that they haven't even brought out Trey Lance yet. Cooper Rush, I guess he did throw for over 300 yards, but it's like garbage time throws for the most part in that game. But again, like you said, why trade for him if you're not even going to at least look at him? Or is Trey Lance really just been that bad in your guys' system? I don't even know. If Cooper Rush has been playing this bad, how bad is Trey Lance? If they're still not playing him, So it's interesting, but like how I kind of predicted a couple weeks ago, I predicted that the Commanders would kind of come back to earth a little bit. The Commanders have been competitive in these past couple games. They've looked good. They just haven't been winning these games. And I think this is going to be one of those games where they're going to pull off the win, but I will not be surprised if Dallas potentially pulls an upset here, because, again, it is another divisional game. We've been saying that this whole podcast so far. But it is a rookie quarterback going up against the Dallas defense. And I know Jaden Daniels has been playing great this season. But I just feel like this could be one of those games where Micah Parsons maybe takes over a little bit and makes this game pretty interesting. So I wouldn't entirely say this is going to be a blowout by the Commanders. I'm going to say it's going to be a lot closer of a game than people think. But I still got the Washington Commanders advancing to 8-4.
Yeah, I view this game a lot like the Vikings-Titans game last week, where the Vikings were slowly starting to fall down a little bit like the Commanders have been. And on top of that, they're going up against a team that's really desperate and trying to do everything they can to salvage this season, or at least get some kind of hope in the system. Between Will Levis and Cooper Rush, there's really a lot of similarities there too in regard to just overall back and forth play. You don't really know who to start, who to go with out of Mason Rudolph or Trey Lance or these two guys, of course. But I do think that it's going to finish the exact same way as it did last week for that Vikings game, where it's going to be a gritty game right down to the end, but I have the Commanders winning this one 24-13. I think that the offense does just enough. They do really run the ball well, which is something that scares me. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, that's going to scare you too. you just can't stop the run. And Jaden Daniels, I expect him to have a huge game in this one. And if he doesn't, I'll be extremely disappointed. However, I think the Commanders still get the job done nonetheless. They're fighting for a playoff spot. The Cowboys are just complete trash right now. They can't really get anything going. I think that continues this week at least. I mean, you got the Giants again. I mean, so anything's possible, guys. Maybe you can win that game. But
I don't know if Tommy Cutlets is playing again, so
Tommy
I don't know.
DeVito versus Cooper Rush. What is this world coming to?
On Thanksgiving.
I am gonna. Yeah, I know. I'm not happy. Anyway, I have the Commanders winning this one on home field, 24-13. They get the job done. As we move into another division game, the fourth consecutive one to start the video. Oh, fifth, sorry, to start the video. It's just crazy.
This is why my order is better.
Yeah, right. We have the Dolphins and the Patriots. Miami doesn't look as lifeless as people thought. They are 4-6 with one of the easiest schedules remaining on this season. If they even win 5 of those 7 games, then there's a good chance Miami maybe gets that last wild card. So I guess we'll see how it plays out. But they have to beat New England first. A big game against the Patriots. Last time these two teams played, it was a 15-10 Dolphins win. However, it was not Drake May playing. It was Jacoby Brissett taking on Tyler Huntley. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you think Drake May and the Patriots get the job done, or does Miami continue to claw back in the AFC's tight race for that final wild card spot?
You know, Tua Tagovailoa has yet to lose a game against the New England Patriots. But watch out for this Patriots team because the Patriots defense has been playing really good as of late, besides the Rams. But the Rams had to really fight for those 28 points that they scored against them. And Drake May has been still looking really good so far.
Wide open touchdown I've ever seen. They had to fight for those points.
Okay, that's one touchdown, buddy. That's one touchdown.
Yeah,
but anyways, Drake May has been still looking really good. But I'm going to still have the Dolphins winning this one. It's going to be a really tough game. It's going to be a really close game. But Dolphins, Tua's undefeated against the Patriots. I think that continues. I'm going to go with a lot of those streaks. I'm going to bring up probably a couple more of them, those little record things, as we move along here. I'm moving towards the analytics a little bit here as we get late in the season. But Dolphins at home. It's probably going to be another really hot game. If not anything, maybe sick. No. It's probably going to be really hot. I haven't checked the weather, but it's probably going to be a really steamy, hot game. And I'm still kind of waiting to see for this Miami offensive explosion so far because they've been winning games again, but they haven't really been as explosive as they've been in the past. I don't think they're going to be explosive this week. Of course, now that I say that, they're going to be amazing. But against this New England defense, I think it's going to be tough to get some points here. But I think they're still going to do enough to get the win here and keep their playoff hopes alive here as we're getting close to December. So we'll see how Miami performs, but I got them winning this one.
Yeah, me too. You really kind of dragged that out for New England. I'm sorry, but I think the Patriots are a good team, and I understand that. Drake May's definitely made this team a hell of a lot better too, which is really fun. But I'm going to have to lean with my gut as well here, and that's Miami Dolphins getting this one done. I understand that the Patriots have looked better as of late, and they kept it close with the Rams, but the Dolphins beat the Rams. So I do think Miami gets this one done. I think it's going to be really close as well. 27-20 is my final score prediction. I think that it's going to be right there at the end. However, I'm going to go ahead and give Miami this one. They just need it so much more. New England's fighting for the first overall pick conversation, and Miami's fighting to keep their season alive with the shitty schedule they have to close out the year. So I think Miami gets this one done and keeps their playoff hopes alive. As if they win this game, they will be tied with the Indianapolis Colts for 9th in the conference, behind teams like Denver and Cincinnati as well. Actually, no, they'd be 8th in the conference. They'd be tied for 8th because Cincinnati would be the 10th team at 4-7 right now. Yeah. So look out for Miami, guys. As we know, Brian, of course, shout out you. We think that this is going to be a good game. We both have your Dolphins winning, so congratulations on that. Another sweep of the New England Patriots as we move into the next game. And it's not a division rivalry game, but it's, of course, Chiefs-Panthers. And so because Owens said he was going to pull out a couple more of those stats, I figured it'd be kind of funny to mention this, that the Panthers are 5-2 all time against the Chiefs. So with that being said, I think that Owens going to go ahead and pick the Panthers to win this one based off of just analytics.
I got a gut feeling that the Chiefs are going to win this one. Go against the analytics here.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It'll be interesting.
Whoa. Okay. This game, I think the Chiefs are probably going to come out angry in this one. I'm gonna throw this out here now. I don't know why, but I feel like this game might be closer than people expect. Even though the Chiefs, like every win they basically had this season, has been pretty much by one score. Which, so if it happened again, I mean, I feel like it'd still be pretty surprising though, because you're going up against Bryce Young and the Panthers, and this team is a back-to-back Super Bowl winning team with a 9-1 record, number one seed in the conference. You know, they got all that fun stuff going on. So the Chiefs should win this game. They should dominate this game. But you know, they got one loss now. We'll see if it continues. Probably not. But now the Chiefs got to keep winning more games now because the Bills and Steelers are right behind them. And if they just slip up one more time, they could lose that one seed for good. So I got the Chiefs winning this one. So much more to fight for. Thomas, who do you got?
Chiefs as well. I mean, I think that's very obvious. I think that this game will not be close, though. Here's my issue: the Chiefs have had that kind of fire for this entire season, where like it feels like they just haven't seemed to give a crap about most of the games. They're like, oh, like we're winning these close games. Who cares that Mahomes hasn't played that great? Who cares that Kelsey's held off the stat sheet most of the games? They don't care as long as they win these games. And now that they finally lost to the Bills playing this kind of football, they're going to be like, okay, now we have to turn it on because we finally lost playing like this. We have to learn that we have to be a better football team. They're going to learn from their mistakes like they always do. And I think that loss is so crucial to what makes the Chiefs the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think we're going to see exactly what they can do, their peak level of football in this game. I think they have this one over by halftime. I think this one's going to be a 31-10 victory. I think that the Patriots have a little bit more honor than a team like the Lions, who just destroyed the Jaguars. Literally had 4th and 2 from the 7-yard line and decided to go for it when they were up 38-6. So yeah, there's that. I do think, though, for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that this is going to be the game where we finally see the Chiefs. And I understand it's the Panthers, whatever bullshit you want to say. But the Panthers have won 2 of their last 3 games. They are coming in off of the bye week as well. So they've had an extra week to prepare. They're at home for as much bullshit as that means. Probably nothing. But either way, still, nonetheless, this Kansas City Chiefs team is going to show you what they are made of on Sunday. And I think that is full-heartedly true. 31-10. Absolute domination of the Carolina Panthers in this one. As we move into an NFC battle between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4-6 and the 2-8 Tommy Cutlet led.
Yeah, Tommy DeVito.
The big storyline of the week so far: Daniel Jones, not quarterback 1, not quarterback 2, not even QB number 3. Bro is on the practice squad right now, level of playing. He is quarterback number 4. According to Brian Daboll. With that being said, you got to just feel for the guy. I understand he's not the greatest quarterback, but he is a good leader in my honest opinion. He was very good at Duke. He was the captain of that football team for all 3 years he played. Unfortunate situation for him, but again, you got to play up to expectations, and he is currently not. So they got to find some way to salvage this season, and that is with Tommy DeVito under center. Can DeVito spark this team like Jameis Winston did for the Cleveland Browns and get them a win? Or does Tampa Bay roll in this one at home en route to potentially coming back for a playoff spot?
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe Daniel Jones, being benched could maybe give him somewhat of a spark, but it seems like the opposite has been happening inside the locker room because all the reports going around the team is that these Giants players are not happy about the move. They think it's a financial decision just so the Giants can save money for the future and all this and that and the other. And for the Buccaneers, Mike Evans has a good chance to play this Sunday. So it's really big for my fantasy team. It's also really big for this Buccaneers squad who's trying to make a final push for the division. I'm going to say the division here because the Falcons have not been looking good. Yeah, they are, but the Falcons have not been looking good as of late. So I see the NFC South kind of being wide open right now. So Buccaneers really got to go all in these next couple weeks to try to win the division. Giants, they're not
still in it.
I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, I mean, technically they are. Yeah, I don't think
they're one game back. If the Bucs win this game, they're one game back at the Bucs, and they play them again.
If the Bucs win this game, they'll be one game back at the Bucs.
Yeah, they'll be 5-6 versus 4-7.
Okay. Anyways, all right. But yeah, the Giants don't have a chance in hell of winning their division. Eagles are sitting at 8-2. They have to get back from like 6 games. They basically have to win out, and the Eagles have to lose out if they want to win the division. So that's not happening. And with all the issues going around with the Giants organization right now, I just cannot see them winning right now. It's a very rough situation. Does not look good look good for Brian Dable whatsoever. So give me the Buccaneers to take care of business here and move on to 5-6 and make that NFC South a little bit interesting.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing happening here. I mean, it's really hard to disagree. In my honest opinion, I think this is just going to be one of those interesting games here. But I have the Buccaneers winning 28-13. I think that Giants offense gets a little bit of a spark. They get something going at the beginning of this game, but I feel like it's going to fall flat by the second half. Baker Mayfield's just an amazing quarterback when he wants to be. And this is one of those games where he's going up against a defensive line that he's going to have to be good in order to, win this kind of a football game against a gritty defensive line. I think that they get this one done, though, very convincingly. They win by double digits, 28-13, and advance to 5-6, just one game back of the division, technically two because they lost both games to the Falcons. So, unfortunately for them, they are still 2 games back. But with how the Falcons have played, I would not be surprised if they collapse, much like the 2016-17 season Super Bowl. So, moving into whatever is next here, we have the Colts and the Lions. The Colts are 5-6, and they will be hosting this one, a big game as they are second in the AFC South and currently right on the outside looking in for that final wild card spot, which is currently held by the Denver Broncos, who we will get to very shortly. However, the Detroit Lions are 9-1, the best team in the NFC North, best team in the NFC, and in my opinion, they are the best team in the NFL currently. Big game on the road for the Lions, a tough test for Richardson to see what he is truly made of in a situation like this. Do you think that the Lions fall, or do the Colts stumble at home?
I just want to throw out a random little bit of information I saw just a second ago. This is back to the Patriots-Dolphins game real quick. If the Patriots lose or tie this week, they're eliminated from the AFC East contention to win the division. Just thought I'd throw that out there because that's kind of a little bit interesting.
Wait, what is it again?
If the Patriots lose or tie to the Dolphins this week, they're eliminated from winning the AFC East.
Who are the Dolphins?
Not from the playoffs, just the Patriots.
Oh, come on, bro.
Even though the Bills don't play the Patriots. But anyways, moving on to this game, Lions are an absolute wagon right now. I know that term is normally used for the Bills, but Lions are an absolute wagon right now. They are an absolutely amazing team, the most complete team in the NFL. Jared Goff, for the most part of this season, has been near perfection, besides that one game we will not talk about. And for the Colts, they had a really promising game from Anthony Richardson last week against the Jets, but it was against the Jets, and now you're going up against the Detroit Lions. So good luck with that, Anthony Richardson, but you're going to be losing this week. Lions, it's impossible to go against them right now unless, for whatever reason, you think they're due for a loss in this one, which they could be. Could be a trap game. But the Lions have kind of made it so trap games don't exist for them by just blowing teams out by 50-plus points. So, give me the Lions in this one. It's not going to be close.
I think that this game is just one of those ones for the Colts where it's going to be very difficult in order to see a path where they win this football game.
Well, yeah.
Okay, bro, I get that. Coming from the guy who just said that the 3-8 Patriots, if they lose or tie, are eliminated. And I'm like, oh, wow, it's like they had a chance or something. Anyway, I do think that the Lions are going to get the win here on the road. I think it's a 31-17 final score for me. I think this game will be pretty much over for the Lions, but I think it'll be 24-10 and a garbage time touchdown for the Colts. And we know how Dan Campbell is at the end of these games. He just goes ham. I think they get another touchdown late. I would not be surprised if the Lions score more than that, and that's insane to say considering that's 31 points. That's a lot for a lot of teams. But I still think that they could. This is a very terrible secondary for Indy. Nick Cross, the third-year safety out of Mississippi State, is not looking great. Julius Brents is still on IR after tearing his ACL in preseason. And then on top of that, Kenny Moore, who's looked solid from the slot. He's one of the better slot corners in the game. You just can't do much against this team when, realistically, you can only guard one of Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams, or Amon-Ra St. Brown at a time, and that's going to be very difficult for them to do. So we'll see what they end up doing in this game. However, I have to have the Lions winning this one on the road. They've been the best team in football, and I think they show that again this week with a double-digit win against the Indianapolis Colts. As we move into the final AFC division matchup of the week, the Broncos and the Raiders. a 6-5 Denver Broncos team that is third in the AFC West, the 7 seed currently, and the Raiders, who are sitting at 2-8, fourth in the AFC West, and currently fourth overall in draft pick value. Currently, we'll see how it goes at the end of the season, but right now the Raiders have kind of played worse than we expected them to. Nobody really said that they were going to be insanely good or anything, but I had them at least 7-10. Right now, they'd be lucky to finish 4-13. So realistically, this is a game right here. On the opposite side, we had the Denver Broncos, which neither of us were very high on coming into the season. I didn't even think about how easy their schedule has been for the most part. But they are at 6-5. You can't take that away from them. They are third in the AFC West, that final wild card. Oh, and do they strengthen that with a win here against Las Vegas? Or do the Raiders get an upset against the division rival Denver Broncos?
I do want to say you scared the crap out of me when you said we're going to get into the final, because I thought you were about to say 1 p.m. game. And I was about to freak out and be like, oh, am I missing a 1 p.m. game? Oh, God. But anyways, we got 2 AFC West teams. And with how the Denver Broncos have been playing lately, it's kind of hard to go against them right now. Give me the Denver Broncos to win this one. Raiders have not shown much life really at all this season. And the Broncos have been surprisingly been pretty solid this year. Bo Nix won AFC Offensive Player of the Week just earlier today. So that's an accolade for him right there. I think it's first of his career, if I'm not mistaken, too. It should be. So coming off a career game, Bo Nix. We'll see if he has another great game.
He's a rookie career game.
Okay, whatever. Just every week is a new career game.
He's played 11 games. Career game.
I mean, hey, it's been a couple months of football. It's his best game so far, so he's improving. That's good.
Yeah,
it's good to see. But going against a division rival here, you never know with these divisional games, as I keep saying every single time. But the Broncos should take care of business here. Raiders season should be relatively over, if it's not already after this week. And the Broncos continuing to fight for a playoff spot. And if they get a playoff spot this year, I just want to say that's a huge accomplishment by this organization. And Bo Nix's first year is starting to make the playoffs already. That's got to give you a lot of hope as a Broncos fan moving forward. So give me the Broncos to win this one and advance to 7-5.
Hear me out. This is a definite trap game for me. This would be the game of the week that I view as a trap game, if any. The Raiders have lost have won 5 of the last 6 games against the Denver Broncos. On top of that, 3 of those 5 are by double digits, and 2 of those 3 games that were by double digits were at home. Here we are with Las Vegas, who really needs a win. I have to go with the Denver Broncos, though.
Okay,
the Broncos have been so good at managing these close games, and that's something that realistically comes down to coaching. And if there's anything about the Broncos right now that is something I can agree with that is good, it is that coaching staff with Sean Payton. I do think that they'll do just enough in this one to squeak by. But if we come back next week and we're talking about the Raiders winning this football game, I will be very upset because I literally scribbled out the Raiders and put the Broncos down. I'm terrible at predicting these Broncos games.
Oh, don't say that.
But I have to go and pick the Broncos. They get the job done 24-20 in a closely contested game that comes down to the end. A game-winning Bo Nix drive solidifies the Denver Broncos win in this one on the road in Las Vegas. As we move in to the final NFC side of the games that are division rivalry matchups, the last one, the 8th one of the week, 8 of the 14 matchups, which is insane. But it's the Seahawks and the Cardinals, the first of 2 meetings between these 2 teams. Right now, the Cardinals sit at 6-4, first in the NFC West with the number 3 seed. However, that can all change this week as the Seahawks are 5-5, third in the NFC West. Currently, a chance to win and take first place from Arizona if they do so this week. Who do you have winning and claiming number 1 in the NFC West this week? Is it going to be the Seahawks? Is it going to be the Cardinals? Cardinals have struggled on the road this year. I'm seeing that face. Are we thinking Seahawks here? Owen, what are your thoughts?
Speaking of scribbling out games, this is the first time all season I picked a team, scribbled it out, and wrote in the other team. I want to go through my thought process here for picking this game. So I was really torn, as I'm sure a lot of people out there are, between picking this matchup here. And I found a very interesting stat, which is the one that I was referring to the other day that I didn't tell you about. Geno Smith, as the Seahawks starting quarterback, has never lost to the Arizona Cardinals. Never. So he's 4-0, I'm pretty sure, against the Arizona Cardinals. And I put in the Seattle Seahawks to win this game. But I found another interesting stat as well. I found also that up until last week, Geno Smith has never beaten the San Francisco 49ers. And then he finally did on his game-winning touchdown last week, which makes me believe another record is going to be broken this week as he's going to lose to the Arizona Cardinals, as the Cardinals are going to win and finally try to separate themselves from the rest of the teams in the NFC West. It's going to be hard to separate themselves from the rest of the teams in the NFC West, but this is going to be a huge help beating a division rival. All these teams are pretty much within a game of each other of first place in this division. So for the Cardinals to win this game, for any team to win this game between these two teams is absolutely massive. Huge game for both sides. But the Cardinals are on a hot streak right now. And also those records I mentioned earlier, this one will also be broken as the Cardinals are going to be 7-4 and in firm control of the NFC West.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with that statement as well. Another game we agree on this week, none that we have disagreed on yet. However, I'm sorry for the Cardinal. Yeah, there's 3 really good games too coming up. But anyway, we have the Seahawks and the Cardinals though. And don't get me wrong, this is just something where the Seahawks have been a team that I haven't really been high on all season. And more than anything, this is a game right now for the Seahawks where they've been constantly shooting themselves in the foot. They shot themselves in the foot against the 49ers. They just couldn't capitalize. Brock Purdy gets injured through that game. I think the 49ers win that game if Purdy doesn't miss the last little bit. However, the Arizona Cardinals are coming in off of a bye week. They have been one of the hottest teams in football these last few weeks. Heading into that bye week, they got this extra week of preparation. They understand the importance of this game, and they're going to come out and they're going to win this game on the road in Lumen Field. I think they do just enough to squeak by a 21-17 victory, much like the game against the 49ers last week with the Seahawks. That meaning I do think that this is a game right now that I'm very intrigued to see. I'm really excited to see who wins this football game. But I'm going to have to go ahead and lean with my gut, and that tells me the Arizona Cardinals in this football game. I think they're just the better football team on paper right now. Seahawks have kind of been shooting themselves in the foot, and if they do that against a team like the Cardinals, I think they lose this one. So go ahead and give me Arizona to get the job done on the road as we move in to the last 3 games, the first of which being the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers battling it out, the 5-5 NFC West, 4th place team right now, who for the first time since 2017 has lost to all 3 of their division rivals, that being the Cardinals, Seahawks, and Rams in the same season. Hasn't happened since the year where they first started their big rebuild with a Solomon Thomas draft pick 3rd overall. However, on the other side, we have the Green Bay Packers at 7-3, 3rd in the NFC North with the 6th seed currently. A loss this week would put them at the 7 seed, and the Commanders would jump up to the 6th seed, considering we had the Commanders winning earlier. Do you have the 49ers winning, or will they finally, for the first time since 2019, have a losing record at 5-6?
You know, the Packers were a very lucky team last week, almost as lucky as the Chiefs. They took some of the Chiefs' devil magic to win that game against the Chicago Bears last week. They barely did enough to win. The 49ers, they're a very hard team to tell like what they're going to do because Christian McCaffrey's back. We haven't really been hearing his name kind of like a whole lot. They've been using him a lot. We haven't heard a whole lot about him. They struggled to put up points against the Seahawks, but of course Brock Purdy did get injured on a part of that game. So this is a really interesting game. It is also a rematch of the divisional game from a year ago in which Jordan Love threw that game-stealing interception last year that got the 49ers to the NFC Championship game. So I'm all for revenge. Give me the Green Bay Packers in this one. They're going to take care of business here against the 49ers. Jordan Love is going to have a nice, clean game and kind of get some of that confidence back up for him as he tries to get back to his early season play, which was phenomenal football play. and they're going to go to 8-3 here as the 49ers are going to be in a very scary situation here at 5-6 as they have to travel into Buffalo on a 6-game winning streak to try to get back on track and to get to 500. That's going to be a fun game, but for right now, give me the Green Bay mother-loving Packers.
I'm sorry, but there's death, taxes, and the 49ers beating the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
The Packers last week had one of the luckiest endings we've ever seen. Literally for the second consecutive week, somehow we saw that.
Yes.
So it makes me sound so stupid saying that. But realistically, I've never seen that in my life before these last couple weeks. One stat that I want to throw out there, throw my hat into the ring, proverbial in this.
You don't wear hats.
The Green Bay Packers are the 21st worst rushing defense in the league right now. And they are playing Christian McCaffrey this week. The 49ers, not the 49ers, sorry, the Packers also are 29th in the league in running back receiving yards allowed, which is only better than 3 teams: the Jaguars, the Cardinals, and the Dolphins. I'm sorry, but this just screams San Francisco. They need something to go right. This is a game that they're playing a familiar opponent who they played in the divisional round last year. Fun fact about that is they won that game 27-24, and that's the exact same score prediction I have for this game, 27-24 49ers. I think the Packers are good, yes. They're due for a loss, though. And I think that if there's any game for the 49ers to get a win on this gauntlet that is a schedule to finish the year, having to still play the Bills, 2 teams in your division as well, being the Seahawks and the Cardinals that you haven't played yet. And I think you still have to play the Rams now that I think about it. All 3 games that are going to be difficult. The Lions as well, eventually down the stretch, and this Green Bay Packers team. You have to find some way to win these games. And I think the 49ers are finally going to get that in this one. I just have that gut feeling that the 49ers are finally going to get something going this time. And I could be wrong, and we could be talking about potentially the 5-7 49ers as they will play the Bills next week after a bye week for the Bills. But I'm going to have to go ahead and lean Green Bay Packers to fall in this one. Our first game we disagree on. Finally, we have a game that we disagree on. At least there's one, to say the least. Maybe another one. We'll see what your thoughts are on this next game. As we kick it to the Rams and Eagles game, the Rams traveling to Eagles traveling to the Rams Stadium here. As funny enough, the Rams are playing on Sunday night, and then the next day after this, a night shift for the workers of SoFi Stadium because the Chargers play at home the next day. So we'll get to that in a moment. But Rams 5-5, second in the NFC West. The Eagles are 8-2, first in the NFC East. A big game for both of these 2 teams. The Eagles, they're looking pretty strong. It just feels like, is there a moment where they're going to fall apart like last season? Or do we see the Rams fall apart this time around after what happened last year where they were just so good down the stretch? What are your thoughts on this game? And do you have the upset or not?
Well, I will say the Rams do definitely scare me, but not in the good way. They kind of scare me in the bad way here because I feel like they've been struggling a bit lately, even with a fully healthy offensive line. Now, I get it takes time to really get acclimated, to get back into the groove of things, especially after like their entire offensive line was injured. They all have to get the chemistry back together and such. But the defense for me, too, has kind of been a little bit iffy. The defensive line has been really stepping up lately. They've been playing great. But the secondary, I feel like, has been pretty questionable as of late. And the Rams, they put up 28 points against the Patriots. But the Eagles have one of the best defenses statistically in the league right now. They've been playing really good. The defense is probably one of the main reasons why they even have this winning streak to begin with. And now the Eagles, I feel like they have a great opportunity here to really get the ball moving on offense, even though they actually have been putting up points here too. But I feel like it hasn't really been like really, really good. Like back to the year they went to the Super Bowl in 2022. I feel like they've been leaning on Saquon Barkley kind of like a lot more than they need to. I feel like they can definitely lean on like a lot more players in the offense. But I feel like they just use Saquon Barkley like so much. And I feel like they can really just use other players in the team. I feel like they really don't have to use Saquon Barkley as much as they're using, even though it's been amazing. It's been amazing for my fantasy team. I absolutely love it. But for this playoff stretch, it's about to come up, assuming they make the playoffs here, which they should with an 8-2 record right now. having a well-rested, ready-to-go team especially with a nice, well-rested Saquon Barkley will be absolutely huge. So give me the Eagles to win this one, and I think this is going to be the game where the Eagles offense really starts clicking.
Okay, so hear me out. Rams are at home on Sunday night in a game that really, really matters right now. If they win this game and improve to 6-5, and the Seahawks beat the Cardinals, the Rams would be the number 1 seed in the NFC West after this week because they have beaten the Seahawks, who they'd be tied with, and the Seahawks have the tiebreaker over the Cardinals. Because of that, I think the Rams have a realistic chance in this game.
So you're picking the Eagles.
Just listen. One thing I have to mention here with the Rams is one thing they've been really, really good at that a lot of people have underlined is their pass rush and their run defense. 2 things you absolutely have to have in order to beat this Philadelphia Eagles team. I think the way you beat him, and that meaning Jalen Hurts, is you have to run and basically get to him before he can find someone open downfield. And one thing you've noticed about this Eagles scheme is they don't really scheme anybody open downfield. It's normally like little dink and dunks down the field for Jalen Hurts. If they get into that situation where they have to throw the ball downfield, I would not be surprised if Hurts throws an interception or 2. And in this kind of a game, Sean McVay is going to understand that. He's going to learn from what they've done this entire season, which is just play very soft on defense, just cover 2. They're going to finally do some man coverage in this game, I think. And I think they're going to confuse Jalen Hurts. I think they're going to get the job done. Yes, I have the Rams winning on Sunday Night Football. A 31-24 upset of the Eagles. This game feels eerily similar to the one we just talked about with the Niners and the Packers, where the Packers and Eagles are both due for losses. They haven't looked that great. The Packers haven't. At least the Eagles have. And then on the other side, the 49ers and the Rams literally cut from the same cloth, both at 5-5. They're fighting for their lives at this point in the playoff race. Something's got to give. And for the Rams, with the schedule that they have coming up, much like the 49ers do, where they got to play the Bills and a couple of these division matchups, they have to have this win if they want any shot at the playoffs. They're going to come out and they're going to give it everything they have in this game, and I think that it catches the Eagles off guard. Eagles coming in, I think, off the bye week, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
For what team?
The Eagles, didn't they? Oh, I know they had the Thursday night game.
No, they did not have their
some extra rest. They played Thursday night. But no, that was the Ravens.
They played the Commanders in Thursday Night Football, and the Rams played the Patriots.
Okay, so yeah, I think that the Rams are going to catch them by surprise in this game. They're going to throw a right hook that catches them, and I think that they're going to get caught up in a shootout on Sunday night, and it's going to be a fun one, much like it was last week with the Chargers and the Bengals. 31-24, Rams get the job done, stunning the Eagles at home. As we move into the final game of this week, yes, finally, I can say final without sounding stupid. Chargers versus Ravens, the Harbaugh Bowl, John and Jim going at it. Oh, Jim, as the Chargers at home, the Ravens traveling to take them on. 7-4, second in the AFC North, currently the 6th seed. The 5 seed is the Chargers at 7-3. This game completely decides which one of these 2 teams is at 5 and which team is at 6. Owen, who do you have in this game? It's sure to be one of the best Monday night games we've had all season. Knock on wood, because we know what's happened this year. Who do you got winning this one on Monday night to close out the week?
Oh, this is a really good game here. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure John Harbaugh is 2-0 against his brother Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
Super Bowl being one of those games, by the way.
Yes, I know that.
Back in New Orleans.
I think John Harbaugh is going to make it 3-0 here. I do. The Chargers, they looked really impressive last week, like at times, and I mean really impressive. But at times, they did scare me throughout that game. And looking back at the Ravens game last week against the Steelers, I predicted that game, by the way, and knew they were going to lose in one of those defensive, low-scoring games. But
okay, bro.
Regardless, since I kind of knew that was going to happen, the Steelers are one of the few teams that really know how to beat Lamar Jackson and that Ravens offense, and most other teams don't. And I don't think the Chargers really know how to get what's that face for down there?
You said the Ravens really know how to beat Lamar Jackson.
Did I?
Yes. And I'm just like, I mean, they play him in practice,
beating
but they
themselves.
don't really lose or win.
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe they do. They keep it scored somewhere in that locker room.
Yeah, I guess it's the help in practice, being able to shut down a scrambling quarterback like Lamar Jackson, so they can gear up for another scrambling quarterback in Justin Herbert.
Okay, yeah, because Justin Herbert's becoming one of those great running quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
Oh.
Can't believe Chris Collins would say something like that.
Literally an hour after Josh Allen had that insane run.
Like, I know, right?
Hour after, dude. Like, are you kidding?
It's like he refuses to acknowledge that Josh Allen's just good. Like no, he's a Bills quarterback. He can't be good. But anyways, back to what I was saying. This game really could go either way in this one. I really do believe that. But I'm going to go with the one team that definitely had a lot more hype going into the season, has a lot more, I don't know if I'd say potential. They have a complete game changer in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry.
Potential energy.
Okay, dude. I think they're going to get back on track here with a win. This is going to be a close game. I'm telling you guys right now, it's going to be a close game, but John Harbaugh is going to make it 3-0 against his brother, Jim.
I have 27-21 Ravens winning. I think that this is just one of those football games where I'm really interested to see what happens. I'm really excited for this game more than almost any other game this entire season. The Chargers do have to play the Bengals and Ravens in back-to-back weeks, which is definitely not going to be something that's fun for them. But at the same time, they did take it down the Bengals, and there's a realistic chance they could take down the Ravens. However, Baltimore really needs this game. Like, really badly needs this game. Well, more so, the Chargers are one of those teams where they're a surprise team. They're living up to their expectations and then some. The Ravens are playing way worse than what we all expected them to. We expected the Ravens to finish with maybe 4 losses on the entire season. They still have to play the Eagles, the Steelers again, this game against the Chargers, and then obviously another division opponent in the Cleveland Browns who they already lost to this season. So realistically, there's a chance where they lose at least 2 more games this season. So with that being said, I think that I have to lean with the Ravens to win this game. They really desperately need a football game that is in their favor. I think this one is definitely a lot closer than people will give it credit for. It's just about which defense is going to be better in the end of this game. It's going to come down to the trenches, which I understand. It's kind of ironic that I say that, considering one of the best coaches of all time for just winning in the trenches is Jim Harbaugh. But I have to go with the Ravens in this game. I think it's going to be insanely good, insanely close. But the Ravens do just enough, a 27-21 overtime win against the Chargers, on Monday night, getting the job done against the elusive Justin Herbert. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the OT Podcast. Week 12 is through the books after this week. We'll be back for Week 13 predictions. I will be at home, so happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys before we get to our next episode. We'll, of course, mention that in that episode as well. But thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the OT Podcast. Owen and I love making these videos for you guys, so it's really fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we appreciate every last one of you guys in helping us grow this channel and the podcast, of course, nonetheless. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned to see who wins next week's predictions. Maybe we tie, considering we only disagreed on 2 games. More than likely, I'll probably lose both, knowing my luck. But either way, thank you guys so much. And Owen, anything else to add?
If you guys want to subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. A thumbs up on the video would also be greatly appreciated. And a follow on Spotify would also be greatly appreciated. Socials in the description below, as we will see you guys all next week. So without further ado, as I say, life forms out.